Okay, let's jump into the deep forest here and let's look at this bonus level. The bonus level. Let me just remind myself here. Moving floor. Oh, right. Right. Yeah, we did take a little bit of a look at this last time. I think we're going to keep doing this. I think for each of our Baba sessions, we're going to kind of rehash, at least spend a little bit of our time looking at puzzles we've been stuck on, but I'm going to try not to be too long on this puzzle here because it feels like I'm still missing something on this guy. This one is still... Let's talk through it at least. Let's talk through what we've got going on here. The things that I was thinking through last time is that I don't think we can actually create a scenario where Baba is win. I think that is off the table based on what this puzzle allows us to do. What's up, SK? Good afternoon. Doing a little bit of puzzle action here before we get to some DS3. So just like with the previous version of this puzzle, we're not allowed to, because belt is shift and hedge is stop, can't change any of that. Kiki is you, bug is defeat. We are not allowed to, pass the bugs at all. And if we try to go behind the bugs, we need a backstop, right? We need one of these objects to be filling the gap in the belt in order for us to get to the win condition. So the first step that I was doing was something like this to try to... Because what I wanted to do was maybe to make a different phrase. We just don't have enough objects to push around, right? We have 2 flags and we have 3 pieces of text. So that only allows for us... I think that only allows for us to backstop 2 of these. So I could backstop this one. Maybe we should just walk through the different scenarios of what happens if we start backstopping one. See where we're left with. If I backstop this one, I am able to push this out, which does potentially open up a scenario where we can make a phrase like flag is win. Because I don't know that, oops. Hit my mic accidentally there. This is a variant of one you did before? Yes. Are you sure this is the original Shock? This is... We're on the extra one here, right? Crumbling floor, which is, I think, a spin on... What was it called? Moving floor? In moving floor, we had 6 pieces. We had 2 flags and yeah, you might have just got them switched around. In the previous puzzle, we had an is. We had an extra is that we could play with, which allowed us to very easily set up things where we had 1 flag backstopping, and then 2, and then to allow us to push this win out into the column, and then use the remaining text to backstop these 2, and then just push the win down and make Baba is win. Ended up being very straightforward. Very tricky when you take 1 piece off the board. 1 piece and everything, because at least so far, there might be a very simple realization here, as tends to be the case once you break through. But so far, Stumper here, Stumper City. Were you here for that one, SK? Yeah, we were, the previous one was so easy. Well, let's keep exploring this though, because maybe I mean, clearly I've missed something. What did we miss though? What did we miss? If we try to do what we've done before, if we try to simply see, once I've pushed one of these pieces onto a bug, I don't think I have any way to get it off of the bug without using another piece. So I'm just trying to think if there's a way I can sort of reclaim one of these, but I don't think we can. There's no way to change bug is defeat, and there's no way to change Kiki is you. Right? Hmm. Because then if we go to do... Wait. Okay, never mind. Achievement unlocked. Tree is shift. And area complete. Okay. We were overthinking it. As is usually the case, we were overthinking it. I got somehow... How did I make that assumption? Assumptions, man. They freaking kill you in these puzzle games. I don't even know how we got off on this thing of thinking that I needed to make Flagus win. That's so funny. That's so funny. You never needed 6 pieces. You never needed 6. You only need the 5. Maybe you could even do it with less than that. Who knows? Who knows? But given that particular arrangement of the belts, yeah, that was it. That was it. How did we not see that? 5 easy pieces. Jesus Christ. I forget a lot that that words are objects, right? Words or text is push. Text is push. It would be really hard to envision 4, right, Shock? It would be really tough to see. You did need 6 in moving floor. Really? Was something different about the layout here? Oh, the layout is different. You're right. Oh, that's sneaky. That is sneaky. Interesting detail, Epikitty. Because it's a little more tucked into the crevice there compared to this one. The bump, that extra little twist, huh? Which would prevent you from just simply pushing the is. Okay. Okay, cool. Wow. Well, Fresh Brain does it again. Fresh Brain OP, as per usual. So that feels awesome. First 5 worlds. First 5 worlds. Hell yeah. Okay. Good. That went much better than I expected. Okay. So, let's continue back on with, what was the overall name of this? Rocket Trip. Rocket Trip. We've had a lot of fun with Rocket Trip so far. We've learned about empty, I think, was the introduction here. Yep, we got, and it does seem that the way, it's funny that these are, you know, the numbers tend to be, or can be split between little groupings of the puzzles. Because I think if you go over to number 4 here, I think this is the one that introduces the fall mechanic. Look at this real quick here. Yeah, so it feels like those groupings are meant to kind of introduce different mechanics or keywords potentially. But they still number the puzzles in a way that, I guess, slowly scales up the difficulty and lets you kind of interpolate those concepts as needed. Something like that? I'm just guessing, but we'll see. All right, let's go back to this one, and we'll see if we're still stuck here. Maybe Fresh Brain can do this one as well. I think that I thought more about this puzzle after the last stream, and I thought that I had a late night epiphany or breakthrough, but I think I also neglected the fact that Cloud is not you. I think I had somehow worked up a scenario in my mind where we were going to make Cloud is you and Cloud is stop. But they've accounted for that, right? If you could do Cloud is you and Cloud is stop, then things are pretty trivial, except Cloud is not you. So how do we do this? We were trying last time, I think. We were trying to come up with a scenario where we could, like, transform the clouds into Baba and also keep everything stop. Is there a way to do that? If we can kind of rule out that as a possibility, then maybe we can get off that line and find our way to the winning. Or we find the winning line. Ice is stop, moon is push and open and fall. We have to get moon to the star, because that's how we get our win condition. Dust has to be win. There's no other way to make a win condition based on the placement of the ice. We can't move dust out of the way unless there's some sort of weird text stacking that we could do, but we don't have swap, so I don't think that's an option. So far, I think the only thing that has allowed us to do text stacking has been swap, and even then I don't remember. Maybe there was an instance of the text stacking helping us. Not sure. So what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? Can we try to get Cloud is Baba while we simultaneously say Baba is stop? Because if I break Cloud is stop at any point, my moon is bye-bye. I don't think I can win if the moon falls to the floor. I think that is a no-go. Because at that point, no matter what I make stop, I have to be at least one square underneath in order for something that is push to be, you know, quote-unquote lifted. And we're not going to be able to break. Moon is push and open and fall. Those things are going to be there. So can I come up with a scenario here? I have realized one of the things that we did learn is the fact that this is keyword, and the fact that there are two Babas does allow us to move what would otherwise be an immobile phrase like Baba is you. Normally, we're only allowed to push these phrases in the same axis that they're aligned. But because I have two Babas, I can move both Baba and you at the same time to do this, which would then allow me to make Baba is stop. And I think we have tried something like this before. Now, the problem that I have is I still can't really transform Cloud into Baba because it's 2 squares away. As soon as I try, even if I do line up the Babas like this, as soon as I go like this, my moon has fallen. Is there some way? And Cloud is not you, right? Which also very much limits our opportunities to do things here. It doesn't seem like we have the ability to do what I'm trying to do. So I think I'm gonna rule this out. Let me think about it a little bit longer here. Let me think about it a little bit longer. We're just too far away from saying Cloud is Baba. Right? Unless... See, the other problem here, if I wanted to, like, try to use one of the Babas here to, like, hold up... Like, we could do something like this, right? I could do this, and I could catch the moon. The problem then, though, is if I go to move Baba left or right, I could move Baba up, but if I move Baba left or right, there's no friction, right? I don't carry the moon with me. Unless I had... Oh. What if I'm supposed to... What if I'm not supposed to disable cloud as stop? What if I'm actually just supposed to use the babas? Just use the babas as they are and do something like... How could I do this? I'm trying to think of a way. I can do it like this, right? Okay. Now we just go like this. Okay. I think we got it. And this is sort of what I was trying to do with the clouds. When I had my late night epiphany, this is what I had thought to do with the clouds. I was like, oh, I'll just make the clouds, you know, I'll make clouds you, and then I can kind of like have a, I don't know what you call it, like a little scooper or a scenario where the moon is kind of tucked in a corner, and that way you can move it up and also laterally. So I didn't even need the clouds though. I just needed my babas. I think we got there, Shock. Let's do things officially here. Let's not. We just need an is, right? We just need an is. There it is. Oh, fresh brain, fresh brain. How I love fresh brain. It's so good. Okay, making some progress. Nice. At the very least, we have made progress during our brief little Baba stint here to start our Friday stream. So I can at least, my heart can feel the accomplishment of that much at least. I know beating the extra levels even feels better, Shock. It's I mean, we're probably gonna get to a point in the game where any level progress whatsoever is just good. So we take the wins. We just take the wins. This puzzle actually feels familiar. I think this might be one that I worked on at one point with my siblings. My siblings were playing this game many years ago now when I visited, and I think this might be one that I worked on with them. I don't remember if we figured this one out, but it feels familiar. Okay, so now let's start to try to figure out why are we denied from the flag. Well, the main thing that the naive approach to the flag right now, let me just restart again to make sure here. Yeah, so skull is defeat is in our way, right? The text skull is defeat is simply in our way. And if I press this downward, I think I'm now at a situation where I cannot reach the flag. I don't think there is any way for me to push these words out of the way. So, because cloud is stop and words are push, text is push inherently. And so we got to do something else. What it looks like we need to do is we need to do something that involves, the only other way to get to the flag would be around this route here. There is a route here that goes past the skulls and then down and around. If you were able to get past the skulls, you could pretty easily get to the flag. The problem is that right now skull is defeat. So you cannot come into contact with something that is defeat. So what we presumably need... Oh. Okay. So we could make... What I'm thinking what we need to do here is we need... They've given us both access to both me and Kiki. So there are two different things. And we also have access to is and. So there could be several different combinations of things we could do. We've got access to push, and we've got access to move. My instinct... This could be very, very interesting. This could be very, very interesting. My instinct here is that we want to create a scenario where Kiki is going to traverse the skulls. And then somehow Kiki is going to progress over here to where Kiki pushes the defeat away and allows us to pass by. I think that's the key insight, quote unquote, but we have to see if we can make that plan materialize. How do we materialize what I was going to try to do? The first thing I think is to make Kiki push. Which we could do in a few different ways, right? I don't know what the best way to do it would be, so let's start with Kiki and me is push. And let's see if that does what I want it to do. Okay. So it does allow me to move these two up here. Now the things can get a little tricky here. Things can get a little tricky because now what we want to do is we want to point these. We want to put it. Let's just start fooling around with. Let's just see if we can get both. My first instinct here is to do something where I'm like, I have this here, and I do something like this. Yeah, so now I have them both pointed in the right direction. The problem is I've used my move keyword, which I kind of need. So let's back this up. Let me try to do that without resetting. Hit Z, not R. So let's leave those there, and let's use a different word. And I'm thinking that's what our extra move here is for. The me is me and me is push. Kiki is fall. So because me is push, Kiki does not fall. If we cease to make me push, Kiki will fall. So Kiki needs to be walking on something that is push. Which is why I think we can use this is. And then we can do this. Now can I simply make both of them move? Does this do what I want it to do? The problem is that the is not going to fall. The is not going to fall. They're going to hit. Yeah, okay, so that doesn't quite work the way that I want it to. Let me think about what we could do slightly differently. So if Kiki does fall without any text or anything else, then Kiki's just going to start, I think, let's just see how this works, actually. So let's try this. Oh, wait, I can't quite do that. Let me do... I can safely disable this right now. And then what I was going to do was going to make this. Oops. And then can I go here and... It's one short. So I kind of need to bring them back. I kind of need... Just give myself some extra room here. Did I just push them back into the same spot? Okay. So if we do things like this, Kiki does not change directions. So that's not quite good enough there. We need to do a little better. We need to do a little better. The question is how? I feel like we're on to something, or at least we're on the start of something here. The trick is going to be, how do we get Kiki to change directions? How do we get Kiki to change directions? Could we... I can't do anything that involves I don't think I can do anything that involves pushing skull. I can't do this whatsoever, right? Once I've done this, it's game over because I can't reach the flag. And the flag is the only win condition. So I have to find a way to get Kiki to break the defeat first, I think. If I could get a word into position right here, if I could somehow get a word there, that would work, right? Kiki would hit the wall here and then change directions. But how do I get a piece of text here? Because text is not fall. It's almost like you need... I was thinking about having either Kiki or me, probably me, having me oriented up and down. But I don't think I can... If I push something like this, but then I push to... Or if something else pushes to the left or right, that's going to change the orientation. Now me is oriented to the left and right. So I don't know if it's possible to get one of them to push a piece of text down. Maybe we need something more like, we need a piece of text. Maybe a piece of text that's like right here. Or maybe not a piece of text, but, ooh, okay, hold on. What if the thing is, what is the thing? What is the thing? I'm trying to think through a scenario now where Kiki moves all the way to the right and eventually hits something and turns back and then falls. Can we maneuver that sort of a scenario? That would involve... I would need to have... Maybe I could maneuver... No, I need somebody to push the text over. Like, could I just push this entire phrase? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I don't even have to be too specific about this. Let's just see what it looks like if I go... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this phrase... Maybe it's as simple as that, actually. I think it might be as simple as that. So let's see if we can make this happen. So we're going to do what? I can't... Oh, I can do that. Because Kiki is fall doesn't change the fact that text is push. So I can just push all this down here like this. And then I can kind of push these out of the way one at a time. I'm not sure if I need... I mean, I need some of these. I need some of these. I'm just a little unsure about when I will need them. But I'm thinking we can just do... Maybe we can just do this. I wonder if this is good enough. This feels good enough. I think we got it. Because Skull is no longer defeat now. I think we got it, folks. They gave us so many words to play with, it turned out we didn't need to be too complicated about it there. Yes, I feel like I've done that before, though. I feel like I've done that with, I think with Joy, but I'm not totally sure. That puzzle seems so familiar, and that solution seems very familiar, but it's been a long time. We got there, though. We got there. GG's. GG's, chat. Let's keep it going here. We might not make it through this next puzzle. We're right up on the 2 o'clock mark, which is kind of where we'll probably be switching over, but let's give it a look at least. Bottleneck. Bottleneck. Uh-oh. Shock's favorite word, empty. All right, what's going on here? Text is float is one of our immutables. And that looks like that's going to come into play with our belt being shift. Okay. So we're not going to be able to shift text with the belt. Rocket is stop. Cloud is stop. Baba is you. We also have access to... Right now, the skulls are nothing. So if I go like this, I can make star is defeat. And then I would also open my path to the flag. The other phrase, or the other text that is waiting to be aligned, belt is shift, skull is defeat, flag is win. So this is how we create our win condition. However, we also create skull is defeat, which prevents us from getting to the flag. So how do we make flag is win while also being able to access the flag? We have access to, in the middle, star and rocket is push. Star and rocket is push. And we also have the word empty. So empty, as we learned last time, is kind of funny. I haven't necessarily learned all the ins and outs of what empty is or can be or how it operates, but we can at least, we can often do funky things like empty is star, for example, basically makes every single empty square on the board a star. So many stars, I feel like that's not the solution, but it is a fun thing you can do. We can do the same thing with rockets as well. We cannot transform stars into rockets because star is star. We could do the other way around. We could make rocket is star. Okay. They're also, this thing here, they're saying star is defeat. Why is that? So they're telling us star can be defeat, which would seem to only make sense in a world where we have done something like turning all of the empty squares into star, right? That seems to be like, because right now, star is not push. Right now, star is not push, and this is all good until we do this, right? Once we do this, now we're dead skis. So I don't know if we're supposed to come up with a solution that involves making empty star. We could also make empty is push. What does that do again? If I make empty is push, I can't move. So I don't want to make empty as push, because that just means all the squares around me are a prison of empty. You remember this one, Joy? We just did one that I think I worked on with you before, Joy. It rang a very clear bell in my head. What would be the naive thing to try here? If we want to... We don't have anything that is move. We have belt is shift. So the thing that you theoretically would want to do would have an object that you can push onto the belt. That is not how rocket is push works. There we go. See, we can't just push something onto the belt here because then we have no way in hell to get over in time to get behind the skull. Is there, like, what if we just aligned, let's go ahead and restart the puzzle real quick. What if we aligned things in a way, what if we aligned things to where we just use every single object? Are we still gonna be far? We're probably still gonna be too far away. But this is at least an easy thing to try. But we're still gonna be way too far away, right? So if I go here, that's just... Yeah, no way I'm gonna be able to get to the flag in time. So... Because there is no move... There is no move. So it does feel like you need to make a scenario where empty is... Because what happens here if we say empty is star? And push. Let's just try to make this phrase and let me just see what happens. If we make empty is star and push. Now, I might not be in a good... No, this is good enough. So now if I push this row of stars to the left, that did not push the stars. Why did that not push the stars? Oh, interesting. Text being float moves above the stars, even though star is push. Star is push. So why can I not... I can get over here. I'm actually very confused right now. Empty is star... Oh, empty is push, not star is push. Star is not push. I misread my phraseology. We got there, Shock. More like you remember getting stuck on it. Yeah. So, if I wanted to make star push, can I do this? Oh, of course I can. I can just do this and then rearrange the phrase, right? So I can now put this phrase in a way that makes sense. Although the rocket is stopped, it's a little... Hold on here. So now... Just trying to get lined up here to where I would actually be pushing. So I can push the stars onto the thing there. The problem is, at this point, we're sort of cornered. And I can't undo the move by transforming star back into empty because star is star. Have you tried empty and star is push? The only problem, even if I do make that joy, where am I situating myself? What I was thinking is I could like complete the phrase. Oh, can I complete the phrase being right here? Well, if I complete the phrase being right here, then how the heck do you push something onto the conveyor? It's like I need to be here to push a row over, but then even in that spot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I push something onto the belt and it shifts up. So it's gonna be 1. This is a spot where turning on the grid is probably helpful. Here. I'm here when this thing reaches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it is perfectly set up, isn't it? The problem though is we still need to break star as push, because if I push in here and everything is still a bunch, or everything is going to be a bunch of stars, if I'm doing this the way I think that I need to do it. But that count is very interesting. It is exactly enough squares for me to be able to make it from here down past the skull before that object that is on the belt pushes things into place. Let me just count that one more time just to be sure. Pushing over puts it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks exact. Okay. Star and rocket is push right now. So they're giving us a rocket. Is it possible? Text is also float. Star and rocket is push. Oh. I think I might have an idea, actually. I think I might have an idea. Let's try this. So what I will do... What I will do is I want to say... Oh, we don't have to do any weird transformations, do we? Let me see. Let me see. Although rocket does have to be push, but that's fine. We want rocket to be push. We want rocket, in fact, to be both push. Well, we want empty and rocket to be push, right? Now, the problem is that I'm not quite in the spot I need to be, right? Because I need to be... Okay, so this needs to be over here. It doesn't... The column that this is in is not super important. I just need to be able to break it when I do my push. Actually, it is super important, because it needs to be here. Let's see if this works. No, it needs to be... Oh shit, maybe I can't do this now. Because now I'm too far away. But... Shit. Just too far away if I do this, right? I'm just too far away. Can I... That feels like that's worth exploring. And ironing out the details. But I don't know how much longer that's going to take. I can't quite... How do I end up here? Oh, wait a second. No, but I need empty to not be push anymore. That's the trick here, is I need empty to not be push. I need empty to become push and then not become push, because otherwise I'm stuck. Can I make... Oh, text is float. I want to be in this square when the rocket has been, like, pushed onto the conveyor belt, because then that gives me exactly... Can I make myself be even closer? I don't think so, because then I'm not actually pushing the rocket onto the conveyor belt. This is like the lowest that I can be and still push something onto the conveyor belt. And it has to be something that's not a piece of text, because text is float. The rocket ship feels like what they want you to do. It's the rocket ship. You're putting it on a conveyor belt and it's rocketing into space. Could be a red herring. What am I missing here? Because I want to be able, if I could push it over and then disable empty at the same time. Miss a chance to say when the rocket gets launched. Feels bad, man. How do we launch the rocket and then get ourselves down past the skull? Because I can't quite push this text over here, can I? If I push this over, cloud is stop, and I can't, like... Are we supposed to transform empty? I don't think we're supposed to transform empty. If we transform empty into either star or rocket, then we're kind of screwed, right? Rocket is stop, and also star is going to be defeat. So I don't think we can transform... They're giving us these 2 stars. They're giving us these 2 stars. How do we use these stars? Now I'm starting to get off into left field, I think, I'm now envisioning some sort of scenario where the stars are being pushed up underneath the text, although I don't think that can actually work. I mean, it wouldn't work that way because the stars, let's say we put the stars on the conveyor belt, they're gonna get shifted even if they're not push. Let's just see how this works here. So let's push. I feel like this is not really close to the solution, but I also just want to see what it does. Well, we can't push the stars at first. Obviously, I can make stars push. And I'm wondering if maybe you're supposed to do something that involves going like this, and then maybe you break star as push, because it still gets shifted, and then it's going to be like, oh no. Okay, so that actually doesn't change the nature of how the text interacts. It feels like they might be a red herring, Daimo. I think you might be right. I thought that maybe the star would get shifted underneath the text because text is float. But that is not how shifting an object works, I guess. What else could we explore here? It really feels close when you're in this scenario here where the rocket is about to be launched. And then the idea of pushing the empty space, making the empty space pushable. Okay, let's try something. I just want to see what happens when you make empty as push. Okay, you can't move. You can move in the direction of the belt. But then you cannot move. Oh, you can move in that direction because there are stars. That's the key, Daimo. The stars are not the red herring. The stars might actually be part of the solution because they give us space to walk on. Potentially. But that's a key realization here, because while I am trapped, if I try to go up or down because empty is push, I can go to this side because the empty space is being pushed into a belt. And because of the nature of empty, I can't push empty into like the edges of the map, but I can push empty into... Actually, let me see what happens. So if I can push them this way, does that mean I can push them toward... I can't push them toward cloud is stop. Cloud is stop, and so just like the edge of the map, I guess, I'm gonna guess that the edge of the map is treated as stop, but I don't know that for sure. Regardless, you cannot push empty spaces into either the edge of the map or, in this case, clouds, because they're stop. But because there's a star here, star is some other object. Star is not stop. It might work funny if star were push. Maybe star would get pushed along with all the empty spaces. But essentially, because we have a belt on the left and a star on the right, I'm actually allowed to move through this space, even though empty is push. How does that help me? How exactly does that help me? Can we construct a scenario? Can I construct a scenario where we are here and we have just pushed the rocket into place? I think so, because what we're going to do is we're going to push a star here. We're going to put a star here, and this is going to be our turn. This is going to be our corner that we can turn in. I think this might be the solution, because now I get a turning point, even though empty is going to be push. So here's what I can do now, is I can say... The thing is, I still need to disable it, right? So maybe that's why I have 2 stars. Can I push them both together? And then this would allow me, this would give me the ability to do this. The thing is, I think I need that star to be up one. So I might have screwed myself. Do I actually need to reset? I think I need to reset. Because if I go like this, I'm actually not able to get out where I want to. So I kind of need the star to be like to the right of me right now. If I have that, then I have a little walkway where I can get to the square that I need to be at. I think this works. Let's back this up and let's put the rocket here. And we put one star here. And we put the other star here. And now we go like this. Let's go. Baba is great. Baba is great. Yes, John of War. Absolute yes. People clap, what the fuck? Just to review, if we want to take another look at that there. Did that make sense? If that didn't make sense to anybody, I can give an explanation, but I think we got there. We got there, Epic Kitty. I was feeling like giving up, but then I was like, wait a second, there's something to explore here. And the great thing about this game is it would not have occurred to me that the stars act as kind of like, the stars are your walkway through an empty pushable space. Baba phrases are great. An empty pushable space. When empty is push, objects like the stars give you connecting points that allow you to traverse that space. So Daimo, yeah, so I think Daimo might be memeing. I'm not sure if you're memeing, Daimo. But the key thing here that we experimented around with, and we just said, okay, what happens if I make empty as push? What are the rules when empty is push? That's all I did, is I just wanted to see what happens when that is the case. And because I did that, I happened upon this scenario where I can actually walk where there is a star in place, or where there's another star. Like, walking between those stars. It's a weird thing. Like, so empty, all the empty squares, when they're pushable, you really can't move around normally. Like right now, empty is pushed. So if I try to move vertically, I'm pushing the empty squares to the edge of the map. And the way the game is programmed, apparently, that's not legal. So you cannot like push empty squares out of bounds. However, it's not the same. It's not the same if you are talking about empty squares that are next to some other object. So now the empty square that is directly to my right is also directly to the left of a star. And apparently, this is not spelled out. You kind of have to stumble upon this like I did, I think. I wonder if it's designed like that. I don't want to know for sure. Epic Kitty probably has an answer to this, and maybe one day I will ask. But I love the mystery right now as to how you communicate this to a player. And the way I discovered it was simply by accident, because unlike trying to move down and pushing empty squares down below the barrier or the edge of the map, if I try to push that square that's to the right of me to the star, it actually works, and it sort of like disappears. Like, it is now the empty square has been moved onto a square that is the star. And because star is not push, I think it would act a little differently if star was push. I push the empty space onto the star. And in this case, star is only star. Star is not anything else. It's not stop. It gets a little funky. If I keep going here, I can now, the star is a star, not empty, so I can walk onto that, no problem. Now I'm faced with a row of 5 empty squares that are up against cloud is stop. Now I can't go any further. But I am allowed to walk in between these stars because every time that I go to push the empty squares, they disappear into the star. I don't know exactly how this is defined, but it's the way that Baba Is You is set up. And the same thing goes with the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt, because belt is shift, it's not stop, I can also push this row of empty squares onto the conveyor belt. And then now, I guess they're belt. It's a quirk of empty, I think. Empty is just a little different than every other object. Make sense, Joy? So it turned out those 2 stars were actually fundamental to the solution.